One more time. Can you lift your hands to Him tonight? Sing hallelujah. Just worship Him, praise Him, extol Him, exalt Him, bring Him words tonight. Let it come from your heart. One more time. One more time. Can you lift your hands to Him tonight? Sing hallelujah. Just worship Him, praise Him, extol Him, exalt Him, bring Him words tonight. Let it come from your heart. One more time.
All right, blessed afternoon, everyone. Welcome to day 4, second session. All right, our moderator is here now. So over to you, Sister Gift. Okay, I think she's having some technical challenge there. So while she sorts that out, yes, if you're here now, please, can I see your emoji, your comment letting us know that you've joined us for this session. This is the second session for day 4. You are welcome. Who is here with us? Can we see your comment? Comments, please, letting us know you're here now. All right, welcome once again. Our speaker is already in the house, so we are set to go. All right, my name is Stella Chichio Boko, and I will be standing in for Gift Ikechukwu while she sorts out her technical issues. She'll be moderating for today. Okay, so this is No Conference once again brought to you by ATQ and 360 Community. Welcome. ATQ, it's a growing community of parents, caregivers, safe adults. We have a presence on WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. What do we do there? What we do is answer tough questions our children are asking. We ensure that every child's question is answered, and then we have meaningful conversations. All concerns are taken care of. So, once again, you're welcome to this program. Yeah, we are two. We clocked two yesterday. ATQ clocked two yesterday, and lots of amazing testimonies. And out of those testimonies, we want to listen to one. Yes, please, can we have our testimony? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kemi Onoja. I'm a proud member of the ATQ community, and it has been a wonderful experience being part of it. I have been able to get answers to so many questions that I have about kids, about growing up. Times have changed, seasons have changed. Parenting is such a wonderful but different experience from when we're growing up. And to be able to get it right, you need advice, you need help. You can't do it alone. The ATQ community has helped in so many ways, from my teenager, the hormones, and understanding them, being able to bring out the best in them, in my children, being able to see their gifts, understand their gifts, and not get frustrated about it. I mean, there will be times where kids will frustrate you, kids will stress you, kids will tempt you. You can hear them knocking on my door right now. But the ATQ community have helped with that, and answer questions, with ease, in fun ways, give advice from books, from people's experiences. It has been wonderful. I'm grateful to God for it. And I pray that whoever listens to this decides to become a member, you would not regret it. It's been an awesome experience. I take it from me, myself, and my generations, my generals are grateful for it. Thank you.
All right, that's beautiful. You had it for yourself. So if you're here, please join our community. Join our WhatsApp group, join our Facebook group, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Instagram. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You will see us in all these places. Yes, please, I want to ask you for a favor this afternoon as we continue. Two things. Click on the subscribe button, then share, like and share. Secondly, if you're on Facebook, if you're watching us from Facebook, please like and follow us, then share. Don't be selfish. Don't enjoy alone. All right, so this afternoon, our speaker is already here, and she'll be taking us on the topic communication milestones in children, spotting communication disorders, and what to do. Our speaker is already here, but before she takes over and starts speaking to us, let's have a profile. Let's get to meet our speaker.
Mrs. Patience Oyemi Olaiya. Patience Oyemi Olaiya is a child of God, a Nigerian, licensed and certified lead speech language therapist with over 10 years of experience. She is passionate about helping children and adults find their voice. She graduated from the prestigious University of Ibadan, Nigeria, where she obtained a first degree and master's in speech language pathology and is running a doctorate degree in the same institution. She is the founder of Speechy Haven Nigeria, a company that provides both virtual and physical speech language assessment and therapy services. Patience is happily married to Dr. Wilson Olaiya, and they are both blessed with two amazing children. Please welcome Patience Oyemi Olaiya as she speaks on the topic communication milestones in children, spotting communication disorders and what to do.
Can everyone hear me? If you can hear me, please drop a comment so I'll know if to increase my volume or if you can hear me well. Please, can I get a reaction? I'd like to know if you all can hear me well. Hello? Oh, yes, loud and clear. I just got that. Thank you very much. Just a little correction. I'm not Oyemi. I am Oyeme. It's an Edo name, meaning Omoye. I mean, in full, Omoyeme. So Oyeme and Patience Oyeme Olaiya. Yeah, thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be here. I'm grateful to ATQ for giving me this opportunity to do what I love to do, which is educating parents and helping parents navigate around communication disorders. And so let's start. I'd like to share my slide. Oh. Okay, please give me some seconds. Slide. Okay, it's uploading. So unlike other platforms where you can just start sharing your slides, for this platform, you have to give it some seconds to upload before you can have access to it. So it's processing now. We're almost there. There we go. Yeah, can we see my slide, please? I need a reaction to know if we can say, okay, yeah. So the slide is here where we'll be talking about communication milestones in children and how to spot the communication disorder, how to spot communication disorder and what to do when you know a child has communication disorder. Our next slide. So our learning objectives, we'll talk about who a speech and language therapist is. What do SLTs, that speech and language therapists or speech and language pathologists, what do they do? What is speech and language disorder? Causes of speech and language disorders. Milestones or the signs to look out for in order to know if a child has speech and language disorder or speech disorder or language disorder. Then after we look at the milestones, then we look at what to do. What do you do next when you now know a child has speech and language disorder? So now who is an SLT or an SLP? S meaning speech, L meaning language. If you find it as SLP, the P is pathologist. Then if you find it as SLT, the T is therapist. So in the US, they use SLP, that's speech and language pathologists. While in the UK and some other European countries, they use SLT, which is speech and language therapist. In Nigeria, we use anyone. Some parents, but most Nigerian professionals use SLP because Nigerian parents they prefer it more complicated, you know. They think some parents actually approached me when I told them I'm a speech and language therapist, and they said, okay, can you connect me with your boss? That's the speech and language pathologist. And I told them speech and language therapist and speech and language pathologist, it's the same thing. It has the same meaning. It's just how they call the same profession in different countries. So in the US, they call it speech and language pathologist, while in the UK, they call it speech and language therapist. So if you meet a speech and language therapist calling themselves speech and language pathologist, it is the same thing. So who are we and what do we do? We prevent, we assess speech issues, we do diagnosis, we treat anything related to speech, language, social life, and communication. We also treat cognitive issues. We treat swallowing disorders in children and adults. So some of the things we do, if you look at the right side of your screen, you would see we treat speech sound issues, we treat stuttering disorder, we do accent reduction. Accent reduction, like some of my Yoruba people have the H factor. A speech therapist can actually treat that and reduce that accent if the person wants that to happen. If the person wants to reduce their accent, it can be done. We do swallowing and dysphagia. That's when a person with some muscle tone issues, as a result of the muscle tone issues, they have difficulty in eating or swallowing. So there is a treatment for that. We find this amongst children with CP, cerebral palsy, and some other medical conditions. So we do a whole wide range. We do literacy, like when a child is has learning disability and they are unable to read at the age where they should know how to read. We do literacy, we teach them, we help them overcome that setback. So we do a wide range of things, anything that has to do with the social skills, anything that has to do with communication, anything that has to do with literacy, anything that has to do with a child understanding what you are telling them or a child speaking clearly. We treat these things. So now we look at this, you know, sometimes it's only, most times it's only clinicians, that's the speech therapists themselves, who know the difference between speech disorder and language disorder. Speech disorder, any kind of communication issue, is generally called speech disorder by a layman. However, in the profession, there is a difference between speech disorder and having language disorder. So let's look at it. When it comes to speech, it is how a person produces their word. It is the sound, how they produce it, how it sounds when you listen to someone. If the person is saying apple instead of apple, that's speech. If the person is stuttering, like having blocks or cluttering, like if the person is speaking too fast or speaking too slow, the fluency, it is under speech. So speech has to do with the production of words, how it sounds, how it comes out. While language, on the other hand, can be expressive, it can be receptive. Receptive in the term that, in the sense that you talk to someone, you tell a child, you speak in the child's first language. Let's assume the child's first language is English. That means that's the language spoken around the child most of the time. So you would expect that this 3-year-old understands English. And then you call the child's name. Let's assume the child's name is Cindy. You say, Cindy, come here. And instead of Cindy coming, Cindy starts jumping. Cindy starts somersaulting. Cindy might be having language disorder. That means Cindy did not understand the instruction you gave Cindy in Cindy's first language. So that is language disorder. Then it can be expressive in the sense that Cindy, as a 3-year-old who by now should be able to put more than 3 words together to form a simple sentence, instead of saying, Mom, can I have some cookies? Cindy would say, Cookie have mommy? Cookie have mommy. And the mother is confused, like, is it that the cookie wants to have me, or she wants me to have cookie, or she wants cookies? So at that age of 3, Cindy is unable to put at least 3 words together to form a sensible sentence. That is language disorder. So it can also be pragmatic in the sense that, in Africa, I'm going to emphasize on this pragmatics a lot because we do it. In Africa, we have the mom look, like, that's, now we have a term for it that just came up this month or recently, bombastic side eye. You give Cindy a bombastic side eye, like, you better arrange yourself, you better sit up. And Cindy doesn't understand, and Cindy is laughing instead. That's pragmatic. Cindy doesn't understand body language. Cindy doesn't understand when you shake your head and you say no. So that's language disorder. So now you can see there's a difference between a child that has speech disorder and the one that has language disorder. There are 2 different things. And it is also possible for a child to have both speech, that's the production disorder, and also the language disorder. When we have a case like this, we call it comorbidity. That is the child having more than one special needs. So let's go to our next slide. So causes of speech and language disorder. Many times when I do assessment, parents ask me, what did I do to deserve this? What happened? Why is my child having this disorder? Many a times we do not even know where the problem stemmed from. But let me just give us some of the possible causes of speech disorder. Some neurodevelopmental disorders such as autism. A child with autism spectrum disorder will likely have some form of communication disorder. It's possible the child will have expressive speech disorder or receptive speech disorder. It's possible the child will have expressive language disorder and receptive language disorder. And it's also possible for the child to have the production, that's the speech disorder. We have Down syndrome. Down syndrome, we know Down syndrome has to do with delay in development. So just like the child delays in developing when it comes to the motor skills, the gross motor skills in movement, the child may also experience delay in speech and language. Just like they would have delay in other areas, they may have delay in other areas of their lives. So it's very possible for a child with Down syndrome to have speech disorder. And also another reason why children with Down syndrome have speech disorder is because of their anatomy. They have difference in the shape and size, the size of the tongue. And the tongue plays a huge role in communication. The tongue is one of the most important articulators because if it can't move around very well or if it is too large, it will affect that production, how the words come out. We also have cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy has to do with muscle tones. It's either the muscle tone of that child, the muscles are too stiff, or the muscles are too flaccid, they are too loose. So if the muscles are flaccid in nature, if they are loose, the speech production will be slurred. It will be slurred. But if it is too tight, if the muscles are too tight, then there will be kind of like friction. We'll have spastic nature we'll have dysarthria. The term is dysarthria, but it's kind of stiff, kind of. So now, what are the other causes of speech disorder? The other possible causes: hearing loss. Sometimes when parents reach out to me, oh, my child is 2 and the child is not speaking yet, my child is 3 and my child is not speaking yet, I say, okay, have you done a hearing assessment for that child? You need to take that child to see an audiologist, to see the ENT team. Let them assess the child, check the hearing, to be able to know that, okay, this child is hearing within the normal limits. Because it's possible the child hears, but not enough. Just like if you reduce the volume, as you are listening to this meeting now, if you reduce the volume to 3 out of 100, don't expect to hear everything clearly the way you should. So there are different hearing levels, and the normal hearing level is between less than 0, you can hear at minus. Those are people with very sharp hearing, to 20 or 25, 20 for children, 25 for adults. So if a person hears at 10 decibels, hearing level is measured in decibels. If a person hears within 10 decibels, that means they have a very good hearing. So after doing the assessment, the hearing assessment, and the child has a very good hearing, yet the child is not speaking, then we take that result to the speech therapist and let the speech therapist do an assessment. The speech therapist will then do an assessment to see, okay, why is this child that is 2 years old or 3 years old not speaking yet, even though they have a good hearing acuity. So another cause is trauma or accident. Trauma sometimes could be maybe a fall. It could be hitting the head. It could be an auto crash. It could also be emotional. Trauma can be emotional. You know, sometimes when children go through life, they may not have the emotional capacity to deal with whatever comes their way. And when children go through trauma, like maybe the loss of a loved one, the loss of or parental separation, it affects children in different way. We know children who withdrew socially or in communication wise. They withdrew after their parents separated. They stopped talking to anyone. So trauma, be it auto trauma or auto crash or emotional trauma, can lead to speech or language disorders. Then we have hereditary, such as in a case like stuttering, which is generally called stammering. A father is stuttering, it's very likely that the child or the stutterer may be a stutterer, or the grandchild may be a stutterer. So it's possible to inherit speech disorders. We have fetal malformation. During the period of pregnancy, if for every week of pregnancy there is one organ or one part of the body or the other developing. So if the period where the hearing of a child is developing, the week where the hearing is developing, or the period where the head is developing, the head, growth is cephalocaudal. That means growth starts from the head to the tail, from the head downward. So the first part of the body that develops is the head. So if during that first phase of the pregnancy, the first few weeks of pregnancy, something happens to that woman, maybe she was ill, maybe there was an accident, or maybe she's into substance abuse, and whatever happened to the woman affected the child in the womb, it may affect the parts, it may affect how some the development occurs. It may lead to incomplete development. Just like in the case of cleft lip or cleft palate. Let's say the lip was developing when whatever happened to the pregnant woman happened. She may not even know. She may be exposed to radiation. She may be exposed to toxicity in the environment, and she did not know. So that may lead to a halt in the development of that part in the child. So there will be an opening. Instead of the lip closing up, there will be a gap. So it could be, it may not even be anything related to, the malformation might not be due to whatever the mother took or did not take. It may even be as a result of, it could be genetics playing. So we have fetal malformation. So that's why it's important for pregnant women to eat well, take good care of themselves during pregnancy. And then we have orofacial motor weakness. It's possible that this child is okay. However, after delivery, for some reason, maybe as a result of illness like meningitis or something, as a result of illness after delivery, the child may now have orofacial motor weakness. What is oro? Oro is oral, as around the mouth. Facial, that's oral and facial muscles weakness. So the mouth and the face, the muscles in the mouth, in the area of the mouth and the face, will become weak. And as a result of this weakness, it affects the child's speech, not language this time around, speech. So the production will be affected. So these are some of the causes. These are some of the major causes of speech and language disorders in children. Yeah, sorry, for fetal malformation, I talked about frenulum. Sorry, I forgot to mention frenulum. Frenulum is tongue tie. So it's possible, just like something gets omitted, just like there's an opening and no proper closure while during development, it's also possible for there be excess growth. Frenulum, in frenulum, there will be a muscle under the tongue holding the tongue to the floor of the mouth. And when there is a muscle holding the tongue to the floor of the mouth, it will limit movement of the tongue. And like I said earlier, movements, when it comes to speech and language, the movement of the articulators, that's all the organs you need moving during speech, they are very important, especially the tongue. Next slide. So now let's look at, when does communication start? Literatures, when it comes to speech and language and communication disorders, literatures say communication starts at birth cry. But personally, I believe it starts way before then. It starts during gestation period, during pregnancy. Why do I think it starts that way? Have you noticed that sometimes when a child, maybe when during gestation, during the pregnancy phase, and the parents are always talking to the child, the father is always touching the mother's belly, talking to the unborn child, communicating with the child, reading to the child, singing to the child. And after the child is born, have you noticed that it's possible for the child, a newborn, to recognize that voice? When they are crying and they hear that voice, they calm down because this is a familiar voice. We've heard of cases whereby the child was born and not responsive, and the doctor slapped the bum, did everything. The child still did not cry. But the moment the father walked in and said, "My child," or "my baby," the father said something, you hear the child crying because the child knows that voice. It's also sometimes the mother speaking to the child, and then suddenly it's like the child hears that voice and starts crying. So personally, I believe communication starts before pregnancy. Before delivery. Another example of communication starting before delivery, there are times when you touch the baby, you touch your belly, and the pregnant woman touches their belly and they speak. There will be movement. There will be fetal movement. So I believe it starts before birth. However, the first sign that we know of is the birth cry. The birth cry, because the child can see that there is a difference in environmental temperature. The child can feel like, oh, the sounds around me, everything is just loud. Oh, I'm cold. there is a difference. So the child is communicating that, oh, what's going on? What's going on? And then the child starts crying. So that's the first communication. Next slide. So now let's look at, oh, I don't know why this thing is cutting my slides, but the heading says communication milestones for infants less than 1 year. Sorry. Okay, so for 0 to, excuse me, glitch here. Okay, from 0 to 3 months, how children communicate. So now I'm giving us the milestones. And from the milestones, if you have a child of this age, it's important for you to observe your child and note it if they are eliciting these skills or not. So for hearing and understanding, they startle at loud sounds. They smile when you talk. That's 0 to 3 months. They start social smiles, especially around 3 months.
Excuse me. I need to tell you something.
Please,
I smell Mikey's poop.
please, can I attend to that later?
Yes.
Thank you for letting me know. Sorry, my little assistant came to inform me about something going on in the house. Sorry for the break. Yeah. So they smile when you talk. They keep quiet when they hear the sound of their parents' voice. Then they seem to recognize voices around them, and it makes them it calms them down whenever they are crying. In terms of speech now, they start making cooing sounds at between 0 and 3 months. It's possible, it's possible, most times these things, you start seeing them at around 3 months, but it's also possible to see it much earlier. That's why it's between 0 and 3 months. For my first child, I saw social smiles. I mean, the social smile, the cooing, smiling at people started at 3 weeks. It was quite early. And the moment I saw it, I helped her develop it more by playing with her, talking to her, reading to her. At 3 weeks, I started reading to my daughter at 3 weeks because I saw that, oh, she's already communicating. So I encouraged the communication more. So in terms of speaking, cries for difference, when there's a difference in environment, they cry. They smile at people. They make cooing sounds. They make funny sounds. However, when there's a tip I would like to chip in, if you have an infant and they start making these baby sounds, don't make the baby sounds with them. Do not make the baby sounds with them. Instead of making baby sounds with them, speak real words to them. Tell that infant, oh, what are you trying to tell mommy? Is it the color? Do you like my hair? You love my glasses? Talk to the child. And as you're talking to the child is listening, and the child is increasing their word banks. They are knowing what you are saying. So let's stop the speak real words to your infant. Then from 4 to 6 months, the child moves the eyes around in directions of sound. If someone slams a door, the child is not just startled, but the child turns the head towards the sound location. That's what we call sound localization. So if sound localization is absent in a child, it is a hint that that child might be having hearing disorder. Why is it important for you to know early? The earlier you know something is not right, the earlier you get an assessment. And please just note that there are hearing tests for babies. Even a day-old baby, there are hearing tests. So the sooner you know, you have time between the first 2 years to plan the intervention you want to do. So as soon as you see that, oh, we slammed the door, this child does not respond. We did this child does not respond. Then you start looking for how you do a hearing test. And the moment you do the hearing test and you see that, okay, the hearing test came back normal. But this child is still not responsive to sound. Then you start reading up about it, you start asking questions. It might just be autism. And let me tell you, when you know what the problem is, it is when you know there is a problem that you start looking for solution. It is then there is always one degree of intervention or the other for every age, be it an infant. And usually the earlier you start, the better for that child. So for 4 to 6 months, we see eye movement, we see response to change of tone. When you speak, like I speak animatedly with my children, especially at the infancy stage. Instead of just saying, hey, what is wrong? Hello, baby, are you okay? And then when you change to, hello, baby, are you okay? They look like, oh, what happened? So they respond to change in tone of voices, be it from another person, like they've been hearing a soft voice and suddenly there's a stronger voice coming from somewhere. They turn, they respond. Then they notice toys that make sound. It is then rattlers, squishy toys begin to make sense to them between the age of 4 to 6 months. And it makes sense to them because they can hear. Then they begin to pay attention to music. They hear music, they stop whatever they were doing and they listen. Then in terms of speaking, the cooing continues, then babbling sets in. They make speech like babbling sounds like pa, ba, me. And it's also possible to hear a clear speech in a 6-month-old. It's not strange. It's not supernatural. No. It means that child is very much ahead of their milestones. One of my mentees' mom told me that her daughter started speaking at 6 months. This was like 26 years ago, and it freaked her. She used to hide her child. It freaked her out, and she told me that okay, someone said, "How are you?" because her daughter was just 6 months old and she strapped the baby to her back. And the person said, "How are you?" She thought it was normal because it was her first child. And the moment her 6-month-old said, "Fine," the person ran away. And for that reason, she hid that child until the child was old enough to speak. So it was funny to me, and I was really happy to hear that. And I wish I was there as a professional to see that happen. I can't imagine if that were to be my child, I would have stimulated that child more. Maybe it will enter Guinness Book of Records since that's what's trending now. Yeah, but in Nigeria, in Africa, we should learn to celebrate early developmental milestone. It doesn't have to be an Ogbanje. It doesn't have to be an Emery. Nothing is wrong with your child if they are way ahead of their milestones. I remember how my children grew their teeth early. At 6 months, they have up to like 8 teeth, at least 6 teeth. And then some people were like, is that not too early? You know how our African parents react. Where is this child rushing to? I do a lot of animation, so don't mind my face. I'm a communicator. So, but you learn to see it as normal and celebrate it. Even when others are talking it down, that this child is already speaking. Say, yes, it shows my child is very functional. They will try to say, take it easy. Take what easy, please? Don't let anyone talk your child down if they are ahead of their milestones. And also, if your child is behind a milestone, read, ask questions. Like on platforms like this, you have the opportunity to ask questions and get responses free of charge. Look for groups. I have a group on Facebook, Speechy Haven. We have IG account, Twitter account. Send a message, ask questions. When I do live, even if you are not there live, ask questions in the comment section and get answers and know what to do next. So at 4 to 6 months, the child starts to giggle and laugh like, ha 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 ha. So, and then they make sounds when they are happy or upset. Yes, my handle, Speechy Haven. It's in brackets. If you can look at my name, you'll see Speechy Haven. You can search Speechy Haven. You'll find me on Facebook, on Instagram. You'll find me on Twitter. Yeah. So let's go to the next slide. Let's see 7 months to 1 year old. In terms of hearing and understanding, they look when you point. When you point at something, they look. So if between 7 months and 1 year, you point and your child does not look, take note. They turn when you call their name. Anytime from 6 months, a child already knows their name. You call the name, the child turns. So if a child is not turning between the age of 6 months and 1 year, don't assume the child does not know their name yet. Ask questions. Do an assessment. Can this child hear? If the child can hear, because hearing assessment for younger children does not really need the child's input. They may put the child to sleep and just get the brain activities to see, okay, auditorily in the brain, everything is okay. In the organs of hearing, everything is okay. Then in understanding words like cup, truck, juice, daddy, these are words they've been hearing since they were born now. That's if you have been speaking with them. Because usually parents just think speech and language is automatic. A child drops from heaven and God just slaps them with speech and language. Parents who are not communicating just expect their children to be talkers. How now? Husband and wife, you people don't talk at home. You just use gestures. Go now. You don't talk. You don't even talk with the child. It's time to bathe your child. You just drag the child to the bathroom and start pouring water. No communication. So how do you expect that child to know the meaning of baths, sponge, soap? Or your sponge and soaps, they speak to your child and tell your child, my name is Sponge. No. You need to be able to communicate with your child from day one. I would share again. When my first child, my daughter, was 3 weeks old, I told you earlier that I noticed she started cooing at 3 weeks. She started social smiles at 3 weeks, and I picked it up from there. From that 3 weeks, when people came to visit, then I would introduce my infant daughter to them and introduce them to my daughter. I'll say, hey, Isabel, this is Mr. So-so-so. He is from so-so-so. And they look at me like, is she okay? Is she mad? She's actually introducing me to a baby. But guess what? Before my daughter turned 1, she knew the names of these people. If anyone scolded her, she knew their name already, because I made it a habit. I would always introduce people to her and introduce her to people. If I was to be taking my daughter out, wherever I'm going, as an infant, I would tell her, hey, Isabel, we are going shopping. And then when we get to the mall, I'll tell her, this is where we are. Let's go and get this. Let's get the basket. Let's do this. I am talking. People will just think I'm talking to myself. While bathing my daughter after Omugo ended, the time I started bathing my daughter was like 3 months, yes. And I would tell her every part of her body I was washing. I would talk her through the process of bathing her from 3 months. And by the time my daughter was 9 months old, if you told her, touch your head, she would do. Because every morning and sometimes every evening, while she bathed, I would tell her, let's wash your head. Now let's rinse the head. Let's pour some water. She would do head. Touch your arm. Arm. She could say the words. She could understand when you tell her something that has to do with parts of her body. In fact, by 9 months, my daughter knew some colors. She knew she could say the words this or this. Because after bathing her, I'll wrap her with her towel. Then we go to her wardrobe together. I would ask her, what would you like to wear today? Would you like to wear this or this? So as from 9 months, by the moment she's approaching her wardrobe, you'll start hearing this or this, this or this. And it was quite funny, 9 months old. So, you know, they say giggle, garbage in, garbage out. It is what you put in a child you see. So if after putting all these efforts and you are not seeing anything, then go for assessment. And also another importance of starting early, starting to communicate with your children early. The world is not getting better in terms of security and safety for our children. You need your child to be able to tell you where it hurts and who hurts them. At 1, my daughter could report, beat me, beat me, hand. And then I'll go and confirm from whoever she's reporting, did you beat her? And they will be shocked, like, this child, I scolded her. And I'll say, okay, anyway, she came to tell me. So people around knew my daughter could communicate. Nobody, if people know your child can communicate, nobody would mess with your child. They would know that your child will report. And the first time my daughter at 3 went to a play group, she went to a school environment for the first time at 3. We didn't do anything until she was 3. And when she went, and she would give me details, because her speech and language was fully developed at 3. She would give me details of what happened in school, who did this. And the next day, I'll give the teacher feedback. But you did not tell me this happened now. They'll be shocked that, oh, this child can speak. This child can give these vivid details that it will look as if I was there when it was happening. So it put her teachers on their toes, that they would always give me, if someone hits my child, they would tell me before I get home, because they know my daughter will give me the full details. My daughter would tell me if the teacher reprimanded the other child or if the teacher did not do anything about it. My daughter will give me every detail. So we need children who can talk. In fact, the first self-defense now is the ability for a child to speak up and speak for themselves. It's very important. If not, you will not know what's going on. If at 3, the only thing the child is saying is bum, 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 bum. Okay, what is wrong with bum, bum? The child doesn't have the word. So let's equip our children for the world. For the world out there. Let's equip them. I believe you've been following all the lectures from Tuesday. Yeah. If you haven't, thankfully, you can go to the ATQ's Facebook page. Watch the lectures that has to do with boy child, with the girls. Watch everything. Learn from everything and know how to prepare your child for the world. Don't just allow the world to prepare them. You prepare them so that things will go on smoothly. So let's go back to what we are doing. Understanding words, common items, cup, truck, juice, etc. Start to respond to simple words like no, come here, go, do you want more? They start to respond to words like this. They play games with you like peekaboo, like, where is mommy? Peekaboo! They play hide and seek with you. This is between 7 months and 1. Then they listen to songs and stories for short time. The time their listening skill is dependent on how long you've been reading to them. For a child you've been reading to from birth, at 1, they will be able to sit still for longer period to listen to a story. And even when you end the story, they will tell you again. So now in terms of speaking, they babble long strings of sounds like me, up, baba. This for this less than 1. Then they use sounds and gestures to get and keep attention. They point to objects and show them to others. They use gestures like waving, bye-bye, up, and shaking hands. Even sometimes they respond to high five if you've been doing that with them. They imitate different speech sounds. That's echolalia. If they hear wah, you will hear the infant or less than 1 year old say wah. If they hear woof, woof, they too will say woof, woof, because they are learning these sounds. When children are learning speech and language, they imitate. However, if at 3, even at 2, a child is still doing echolalia, a child is still repeating sounds and words they hear, let's say anytime after 2.5, it shouldn't be happening anymore. The child should have learned so many words that it's not something that happens with every word. Maybe when they hear a new word, they would repeat it just to learn that word. And they will use it inappropriately in their little sentences. So for this age, they do imitation in order to learn words. They say hi, dog, dada, mama, uh-oh, oops. So these are the things that should happen before a child turns 1, before their first birthday. And before their first birthday, we expect that at 1, we expect that a child should have up to between 50 and 100 words they understand and that they can say. It's possible for a 1-year-old to have over 1,000. It depends on how long you've been communicating with the child and the stimuli you've been exposing the child to. So 1 to 2, in terms of hearing and speaking, they point to parts of their body when you ask. Remember, I said my child attained this at 9 months because I prepared her for 6 months. From 3 months to 9 months, she got the skill. So it's possible for your child to learn these skills way earlier if they are exposed to the right stimuli. However, if you do not expose them, they may not learn it. So this is kind of like the deadline for the child. At 2, your child should at least be able to do these things. And it is possible to do it way before. So if at 2, your child can still not do these things, you should seek professional help. Point at parts of the body, follow one part's direction, like roll the ball, kiss the baby. They respond to questions, simple questions like, what's that? Who is that? Where is your shoe? They listen to stories, simple stories and songs and rhymes. They point at picture book. When you name, like they can point at objects. Then in terms of speaking, they use a lot of new words. They master the usage of sounds like that, sounds that involve p, b, m, h, and w. Papa, baba, mama, hat, wee. So they master sounds that start with these phonic sounds. Then they start to name pictures in books. If you've been exposing them to books, they will start to name those objects, point at it, name. Then they ask questions like, what's that? Who is that? Where is my toy? Where is Kitty? Between 1 and 2, they start to put 2 words together. More apple, more food. No bed. Mommy, book. They begin to make requests. They begin to string 2 words together. So if your child is 2 and your child cannot string 2 words together, you need a professional's advice. Let's move to 2 to 3 years old. Amongst 2 to 3 years old, in terms of hearing, they understand opposites like go, stop, big, little, up, down. They understand the difference. So when you give them instruction, go, they will not come. If you tell them stop, they will not keep going, except they deliberately want to disobey. But they understand these terms. They can follow 2-part directions, like get the spoon and put it on the table. That's direction that involves and. 2 parts. Get the spoon is one information. Put it on the table is another information. So putting them together is 2 parts instruction or direction. So they understand new words quickly when they hear it they grab it and they want to use it. In terms of speaking, this 2 to 3 years old, they have like almost everything in terms of words. They have words for almost everything. They talk about things that are not in the room. That's like abstract thinking starts. Then they use sounds like k, g, f, t, d, and they can use it. They can pronounce it clearly because their articulators are developing stronger and better now. Then they use words. They begin to use prepositions: in, on, under, outside. They begin to use these words. Then they use 2 to 3 words to talk about or ask for things. They combine more words together to form a sentence that makes more sense than the use of 2 words between 1 to 2 years old. They ask why. Come here. Why? Sit down. Why? They want to know why. They want to know the reason for everything. Then they put 3 words together to talk about, They put 3 words together to talk about things. They may repeat some words and some sounds. Remember, I mentioned this earlier, but it will not be back-to-back repeating of everything they hear. It's just new words. When they come across a new word, they repeat it because they want to know how to pronounce it, and then they start using it. Hearing and understanding for 3 to 4 year olds. They respond when you call them from another room. If you're in another room and you call them, they respond. They understand some words for colors. They understand colors. They understand words that has to do with shapes. They understand words for family like brother, sister, grandma, auntie. Then in terms of speaking, they answer the WH questions. That's who, what, where, when, how. When you say, how are you? They respond appropriately. When you say, what's your name? They can respond the right way. When you say, where is your mommy? They can tell you where their mommy is. They understand the concept, WH concept. So if between 3 and 4, your child still doesn't understand WH, you are saying, what's your name? And your child starts saying, I got to school today. Please check, get an assessment done to know what exactly is going on with that child. Between 3 and 4, they say rhyming words like hat, cats, etc. They use pronouns like I, you, me, and they. They use plurals like toys, birds. They begin to add plurals to things. They understand the concept of pluralizing things. Then most children in this age, most people would understand what a child is saying between 3 and 4. They can ask when and how questions. They can put 4 words or more together to form a more meaningful sentence. They may make mistakes in their speech, but still you still understand what they are saying. Yeah. So let's see. I'll be stopping at 4 because I've given us the milestones from 0 to age 4 now. If at 5, your child is not eliciting the skills for 4, please see a professional. If your child is 5 or above or 4 or above and is not eliciting any of these skills or most of these skills we have discussed, see a professional. So now what do we do to help our children? Play. Allow your children play. Play with your children. There are different types of play. play techniques. In the first picture here on your extreme left, you see this is my son. He's 2 years old, playing with his kitchen outside. He's cooking. He loves cooking. While the child is playing, this is solitary play, playing alone. While this child is playing, the child is learning lots of concepts about weight. How heavy is this? How large is this? Concepts. What color is this? What goes with this? What goes in this? In fact, he will tell you, I want to microwave it. He's 2, but he has advanced speech because he's been stimulated. People usually do not believe he's 2 when he speaks. He's quite articulate for his age. But then it doesn't just drop on them like that. You expose them to stimuli and then you begin to see the effects. You begin to derive pleasure in watching and in listening to the kind of things they will tell you about. You'll be shocked at, what is this child really 2? My daughter was like that also. And I remember there was a day I was wondering, like, did I really give birth to this child at that date? I had to scroll through pictures to check the date because she was just so fast. Like, wait, this is the date now. We snapped this picture. You know, there's a way you can check for dates of pictures. So I really gave birth because I was really shocked. As a clinician, as a speech therapist, though, I was shocked that no, these things are happening very fast. When your children are expressive, when you help them, you assist them to become more expressive, you begin to see intelligence play out. When a child is expressive, a child that is not expressive might be equally intelligent, but because they lack the words to express what's in their brain, you may not know. But for a child that has the words to express what is going on in their mind, you term that child intelligent. So in the middle, the picture in the middle, the picture in the middle, you can see my daughter and my son, they are playing together in the garden with their kitchen sets. So here they are learning social skills, joint attention, sharing, giving and taking, exchange, negotiation, unity. They are learning so many skills here. And then in the last picture on your right-hand side, play. You two play with them. Get on the floor, roll on the floor, play with them, listen to what they have, what they have to say about what they have made. Listen to them, play with them, like play. Play triggers happy hormones, even in adults. When you go out to have fun, your brain is happy. So imagine what happens to a developing child when their brain is happy without you stimulating it with chemicals. It's happy for good and positive and natural reasons. You are building a child's personality when you allow them play and when you play with them. Organize play dates. Organize play dates. Allow other children come to play with you and make sure you are around to supervise. In case they are fighting or they have quarrels or misunderstanding, you help settle it. And also, because you do not have control over what the other children are exposed to, when you are present, you can prevent them exposing your children to things that are sexually explicit. You can control what they do if you are in the scene. So play is very important for every child. In fact, every human. I still play. Now, reading. You must have heard me when I said earlier that I started reading to my first child at 3 weeks. Same thing with my son. Even my son, we didn't wait until 3 weeks. I would read to them. Their father would read to them. When he's around, he would read to them. They love books. Now they are registered in a library, and at least twice in a month we borrow books for them. They read in the library, they play in the library. They know libraries have to do with books. If you can zoom into this picture, you would see the happy smile on his face. That's what reading triggers. He's always happy when he sees books, same as the sister. So read to them, allow them read. If you are going to give them books, buy the hard covered books that won't be easily, they won't tear them easily. Even though they can't read, they will go through it, touch the pictures, talk about it, and tell you what they can see. And then you read it to them. And when you are reading to them, do it animatedly. Don't just read with a flat voice. The boy was going to the market and the market was going to the boy. Read. Oh, and the boy decided he wanted to go to the market. And guess what he saw at the market? Wow, let's flip to the next page and see. He saw pineapples. He saw oranges. I'm wondering, what is he going to buy from this market? You know, you can even read a book to your child without reading the book. You look at the pictures and you frame a story out of it and give it to them. Every time I read the same book to my children, they get different drama from it. So they enjoy it and they will tell me, Mommy, read it again. After you finish one, they'll tell you again because they're enjoying the story. Now, outdoors. Outdoors are opportunity. Outdoor activities are opportunity for you to expose your child to the world out there, for them to see what goes in what. My daughter is 4. She cannot count up to 100 yet. However, if she sees the numbers of buses, oh, that's bus 76. Oh, that's bus 12. Are we taking bus 13? Because we go out, we use the buses, and they say that, okay, they know the names of places. When I'm passing by a store, I tell them we live here. This is the name of our clothes. We live in house number this. I tell them we live in so country. We live in so states. We are from so country. Grandma is in so state. Grandpa is in so place. We talk about everything. So when we go outdoors, it's an opportunity to absorb all the things, the sensory inputs you can. In terms of sounds, when you hear pim pim, what's that sound? Now, my son does not hear any sound without asking, what's that sound? What's that sound? Because that's what I used to do when they were much younger. Now he has mastered it. Even when you are not paying attention in the environment, if he hears a dog bark, even if he cannot see the dog, he can hear it from a distance. What's that sound? I'll say, oh, you tell me. He'll say, it's a dog. I'll be like, wow, yes, I can hear it now. So outdoors are good for children. It may not be every day depending on your schedule and your lifestyle, but make sure you do it like once in a month, at least. If you can do it every day, yes, go ahead. But if you can't, just make it a point of duty to do it once in a while. Once in a month is good. Let them play. Let them run around. But make sure you are around to watch them and ensure they are safe. And then crafts. Crafts and creativity. Print out or make photocopies of worksheets for them to color. Give them beads to make. Be careful of choking hazards. There are large beads. There are very, very large wooden beads for safety reasons. However, if you are using smaller beads, be there 20, make sure your full attention is there to be there for this child and prevent your child mouthing any of these objects. Creativity. Sometimes my children they will ask for all the takeaway plates in the house. They know where to get them. They will seek permission. Can we use the plates to build a castle? And I give them a go ahead. If you want children to develop well, be ready to have a messy house. I do not appreciate people bumping into, just coming to my house anytime. Let me know so that I will arrange all the scatter my children have made. I let my children play. I allow them arrange and stack everything. But when we know that someone is coming at this hour, we'll make sure we arrange our things so that nobody will come and talk to us anyhow. And then before the end of the day, they will be involved in cleaning up. We will clean up together before daddy comes back from work. So I make sure I work from home most days. So I make sure I am present and they are engaging in safe play. Allow them scatter the house. After everything, we will pick up. Then when it's time for TV, if they want to watch TV, I'll tell them no TV until you've cleaned up. They will clean up like with immediate effect. They will pack all the toys, take them to their rooms, pack all the plastics they use in building towers, take the plastics to the counter or the kitchen. They know where to put those things. So creativity, encourage creativity. In this place where we have more creativity, I attached a video, but this site will not allow me post anything beyond 50 MB. So I had to delete the videos. So there are lots of skills. When your child is creative, when your child is playing, they are having motor skills. Fine motor skills, that's how to manipulate their hands. They are developing gross motor skills, moving of the body, moving around, running around, jumping. If your child is on the screen 24/7, this child will not develop good fine motor skills. They will not develop good gross motor skills. If you put a 2-year-old that does not do screen time or that does not do more than 2 hours of screen time a day beside a 2-year-old that has his own tab, is always pressing tab, you ask them to run, the one that is always pressing tab will be falling several times, may not be able to jump, may not be very active like the one that is always playing. Because while playing, it's just like when you exercise your muscles. The more you engage in exercise, the more your muscle tones becomes better. Same thing applies to children. The more engaged they are, the more they become active, the better they become. Yeah. So let's go to the next slide of what to do. Other things that can be done. If your child is behind in their speech and language milestones, seek professional help immediately. The moment you realize it, that if today is the day you are realizing that it seems this child is not forthcoming in terms of communication, seek professional help between today and tomorrow. Don't sleep on it, you may forget. Also, other things you can do, singing nursery rhymes. They will teach you some, you can teach them some. Sing together, not sing along with TV. You can do sing along with TV sometimes, but sometimes just sing without anything stimulating you. Let them drum on plates or pots and you dance. Be silly with them. They are children. This will help you bond with them. This will help them develop trust and faith in you when you are always present in their life. Cut down on screen time. Your child has no business. Excuse me. Your child has no business watching TV all day. Let me tell you the effect of excessive screen time. Not just TV, tab, all those tabs you people buy for your children. You're not doing them any good. You are only giving yourself time to do whatever you want to do, but you're not helping your children. Let me tell you the effect. Do you know how you feel when you watch seasonal movies? When you keep watching season 1, season 2 within the same day, you are glued to the screen. It comes with headache. It comes with neck ache. It comes with back ache. It comes with tiredness. That's what some of you are exposing your children to by giving them tabs. They stare to the tabs all day. They develop health issues because of the tablets. And the funny thing is, they cannot communicate it because they may not be able to communicate. Children, usually, everything happening to a child, they tell you is their stomach that is paining them because they just do not know how to express pain yet. And also, damaging their sight. You are damaging the child's sight. You are giving the child less opportunity to communicate. When a child is glued to the screen, have you noticed that when they are watching TV and someone comes in, they don't greet? When your children are watching TV and someone comes in and they don't greet, because they are engaged, they are busy. Don't disturb me, don't bother me. Our children know now that if they are watching TV and daddy comes back from work during their TV hour and they do not greet, the TV goes off that minute. It goes off that. So now, the moment they hear the door, broom, broom, they run. Daddy, welcome. So when the TV is on, they are not talking with you. They are not talking to themselves. They are not learning any communication skills. Even if it is nursery rhymes they are watching. There's a difference between watching something and practicing it. So TV time, screen time, tab time has more harms than good. It's not benefiting your child. So stick to the prescription. There's a prescription for screen time for every age. There's a prescription for 2. They shouldn't get more than 2 hours. You shouldn't get more than 2 hours. You can even reduce it for your own good. And you can decide what they watch, not everything. Nowadays, you don't allow them watch anything they want. If you want to reduce the pollution they're exposed to, you choose what they want, put timer on everything, collect those tabs. Your children do not need tabs, except they are doing assignments with the tab. Even assignments, why can't they do the assignments on your system while you are there? Children are doing way more than things you can imagine with their tabs when you are not looking. Imagine you being on YouTube. You see all those ads that come, unnecessary ads. Some will even expose your child sexually. Excuse me. Give me some minutes, would you? Please.
I want to tell you something.
Not now. I'm still on my meeting. I'll be done in few minutes. Sorry, my assistants are calling my attention. So, also cut down on screen time. Talk about everything and anything. You are bathing your child, you are talking to them. You are fixing their meal, you are talking to them. Ask them questions like, what would you like? Even if you do not have what they would like, explain to them that, okay, can we have this some other time? This is what we have today. And every child can be communicated with. Don't assume, oh, my child is just an infant. I can't talk to the child. Talk to your infant. Stop saying goo 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 goo, ba 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 ba, do 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 do. Talk to your infants. Yeah. So importance of early intervention, neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to heal itself. So if you start intervention early enough before a child is 4 years old, as soon as you know there is a problem, you start. You have a more chance of getting neuroplasticity. Then another reason you should do early intervention is to bridge communication gap. A child can be 5 years old and their speech and language will be 2 years old. So if you start intervention early enough, instead of the gap between them and their peers growing, you will begin to bridge the gap. And also, when a child of 5 years old has speech of 2 years old and you start therapy by 5, don't expect that when the child is 6, the child will be speaking like 6. The child's speech or language age is 2. And within a year, maybe the child becomes 3 in speech and language. And some parents just expect us to do magic, to just open the brain and put speech of 6 years old. No, everything is from simple to complex. We build it stage by stage. So even when you start therapy, give it time. And also, it is cheaper to treat speech disorders when a child is still young than when the child is older. When the child is older, the child will be on therapy for a longer period of time. It will be more stressful for the therapist and even the child.
Mommy.
So references, these are some of my references. Thank you. Again, I am Patience Oyeme, not Oyemi, not Oyema. I am Patience Omoyeme, Oyeme, Olaiya. I'm the founder of Speechy Haven. You can find me on Twitter, Speechy Haven. You can find me on Facebook, Speechy Haven. You can find my channel on YouTube. I have some videos on YouTube, Speechy Haven. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook. Just search Speechy Haven. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, ATQ. Many more years of impact in the lives of parents. Bye. Oh, okay. Question and answers, I guess. Yeah. Questions and answers. Admin, please help.
Thank you so much, Ma, for this session. It's been insightful. I really learned a lot. Please, yeah, okay, you're attending to our to your assistant. Okay, so thank you so much, Ma. I know you've gained a lot. Please post your questions, ask questions. It's time for our questions. If you have a question, okay. People are pouring their love already. Thank you, ma'am. That's from Marvelous. Thank you so much, Ma, for this session. So much to learn. When your children cool, don't cool back. Use your words. You know, there's something my boy will tell his big brother. Then he'll say when he's talking to him, when he's with the other guy and he's nodding his head, he'll tell me, "I won't attend to you unless you use your words." So use your words. Okay, so words are important. If your children don't, if you don't give them the opportunity to speak, you may not even pick the defects on time or the area they need attention. So you've had it all. Please, if you have your questions, please ask, ask. Don't be quiet, ask your questions. Okay, we have a question here. Does a child's personality type influence their speech development? Does a child's personality type affect their speech development? So let's give her a few minutes. She needs to attend to him. So much gained. If you are still okay, she's back. Welcome back. So we have a question, ma.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it this question by Marvelous?
Yes.
Eniayekon.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does a child's personality influence their speech development? Well, yes, it not exactly. It influences how expressive the child would be, but it doesn't influence the development of the child's speech or language. A child can develop, like, let me use my son and my daughter as an example. My daughter is 4, my son is 2. When we go out, I can tell my children have different personalities. My son will be the first to greet strangers. Hello, you all right? And people will turn and smile. But even my daughter will just keep quiet until she's nudged to greet. But does it mean she doesn't have speech? She does. She speaks. She can express herself, but she doesn't see a reason why she should go out of her way to be greeting strangers. Until she's comfortable with you, until she knows you, she will just be on her own. But this same daughter will be using actually, mom. She'll be using big grammar when she's speaking with me. She'll be like, Mom, actually, do you know you could do this better? And I'm like, hey, God. So if you do not know her, when she's outside her comfort zone, she might strike you as a very quiet person. She's not quiet at all. This one will use grammar to finish us at home. So a child's personality does not influence their speech development. However, it will influence how willing they are to express themselves, how willing or ready they are to talk to a stranger or to even talk to their friends. Sometimes you are taking, when my daughter turned 3 and she started going to the nursery, she would see her best friend. This girl would, my daughter would come home, tell me, she will not allow me hear what she would tell me everything about her friend's best color, her friend's water bottle, her friend's best this cartoon and everything. But drop this child off tomorrow and she sees her best friend. My daughter would just do like, I don't know you before. And then you'll be like, isn't that your best friend? Like, yes, why not greet? They will now hug. Hello. But the moment you're out of sight, they are running around. But that's not my son. If my son should see his best friend, he will just, the moment, even if the person is like 50 feet away, the moment my son realizes that's my friend, he starts shouting, hey, hello, come give me a hug. I love you. He starts shouting already. So, personality does not influence speech development. It just may influence how willing the child is to express what's on their mind. And you can actually affect that. You can improve the willingness. Every time my daughter snubs her friends, I talk to her about it when we get home. I'm like, it's not polite to see someone you know and you act like you do not know them. What if I come to pick you and you say, hey, mommy, mommy, mommy? And I'm just like, excuse me, do I know you? How would you feel? She'll say, bad. I said, then why do you do that to others? Even there was a time when I go to her school, she will not run. She will just come to me. Hello, mom. No. Are you happy to see me? Yes. Then show it. So she has improved in that. That's a social skill. She has improved in that area. Now, I go to her school. We don't even talk about that anymore because she would run, mommy. And I'll say, yes, that's my girl. I'll say, yeah, I like how you came to hug me. I'll talk. That's the only thing I tell her. I just reinforce that behavior. So that's that. Any other question?
Okay, no more question. No question yet. Okay, so Kemi Onoja is saying thank you. Yeah, from my end, from my own side, I want you to reemphasize. Sometimes people don't. I remember somebody, one of the times I was telling the person, take your children off screen, take away the tab, switch off that television. Your children are not learning any skill. She said, how about, I want to kill her. That was her words. That I wanted to kill her. That how would that be possible? So what will they be doing when they get home?
You allow
What
them scatter the house. Allow
you
them play. Let them
play?
exhaust. If you have a confined space, maybe you have a garden, a backyard. If you have a confined space, you can let them go outside to play as long as it's safe. There is no water body they can drown in. If there is a fence and there is no outlet and you know it is safe, you can be indoors while they are playing outside. You let them play outside. But if you do not have a confined space, please let them play indoors. Let them scatter the house. Would you rather have children that are not developing well because they are watching TV all through, or have your house scattered but your children, they are developing very well? What exactly do you want? I
Research
don't
has
know.
shown. Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I say, research has shown that children need at least 3 hours of play every day.
In fact, if
At
your child
least.
can play for 10 hours, it's good. I said my child did not go to school until she was 3. What was she doing? What were we doing? I work from home. I am a speech therapist. I work from home virtually, physically. Physically, people come when I was in Nigeria, I had my office from home. I was consulting from home. But now I have shifted to my Nigerian clients are still consulting me virtually. I do therapy online. I do assessment online. So while I'm doing this, they are doing their constructions. Most of my clients, they know my children. And I don't make it just like they came to interrupt now. I'm not, get out of here. I would explain to my child, please, could you give me some minutes? I'm still busy. And they'll say, okay. Can it wait? Yes. Okay, please give me 5 more minutes or give me so time. It's communication. You are modeling communication.
Yeah.
So there are
We have
so
two
many
questions.
things. There are so many things you can do. Just like I did on, if you go to my Facebook page, there are posts from 2020 during the COVID lockdown. Things you could do. I made posts of things you could do with your child during this lockdown at home. So there are lots of you, if you have access to a printer, you can print out worksheets. You can even ask their teacher in school, please, is there any worksheet I can photocopy? I need them coloring. As your child is coloring, they are learning grip. Start with the fattest crayon. They are learning pencil grip. So that when it gets to that age, when they need the pencil grip will not be learned through screen time.
That's true.
That skill does not jump on children. That's why they ask them to scribble and do everything. So if your child has been learning that skill all along, it won't be, they won't even when the child gets to preschool, they won't have to teach your child that again because the child has learnt it. So skills, you need your children playing. And also you need to be comfortable with doing nothing. You need to be comfortable with, okay, we don't have anything planned for today. Children, just do whatever you like. Play. They don't have to be watching TV. It doesn't have to be TV. Like now that I'm having my session, I had to put them on TV to reduce the rate at which they come to me or they come to ask questions or they come to tell me they've built something and they want me to see it and rate it and snap it. My daughter loves me snapping her artworks. You say, mommy, could you snap it and send it to daddy? Or mommy, could you snap it and put it in my folder? So I knew that the easiest way right now would be TV. But I know it won't be more than 2 hours.
That's true.
As soon as I'm done with this, TV time is over. We switch to something else. Build a castle, build whatever, color your whatever you want to color. Draw whatever you want to draw. Not on the wall though. Yeah, so there are lots of things. There are ideas. Just like you want to bake a cake, you go online to ask Google, what idea, what color of cake? You can also go online. Activities my child can do while we're at home. Use it for your own
questions.
children's benefits. Yes, ma'am.
We have two questions here. The first
Okay.
one says, how can one get an assessment done? The second one says, can the creative video be shared on the platform?
Okay. The MB of the video is too, I can share them on my page so that even when I can share them on my page and then forward them to ATQ's page, Facebook page, so that you can watch. It's not really, it might not really be, it's just what my child was doing at that moment. It's nothing complicated. How she combined different plastics, different toys to build a tower, and she says it's Paw Patrol's tower. It's Paw Patrol's magic tower. And it looks like it. So this is creativity. You are encouraging intelligence, using their energy, their time, attention span. You are encouraging longer attention span when they create things. My son creates things also, but not as much as the sister though. The sister is older. And then it might not really be his interest. His interest is in cooking. His interest is in cooking. So how to get an assessment? You can reach out to me. If I know the state you are located in Nigeria or wherever you are, I may be able to link you up with the nearest speech therapist to you. We do not have speech therapists in every state in Nigeria. We pray and look forward to a period in our lifetime when the government would really invest in health, especially our children's health. if they really invest in it, there's no way we would not have in every hospital, even not just teaching hospitals, in every hospital. So if you reach out to me and if you are lucky to have more than one speech therapist who is willing to take your case, because in a place where you have just one speech therapist in a state, they will be overworked and they may not be open to having a private client. However, I do virtual assessments. If I ask you to fill a case history form and I see that from the case history form, I see is a case that can be worked on remotely, I will encourage. But if it's something you cannot work on remotely, I will tell you the other options you have. If you have to travel to another state to see a speech therapist, that might be the only option. So reach out first. Let's see what's going on, and then we'll see how we can work on it.
Wow. I hope that is understood. The main thing is early assessment. Like she said earlier, it's good to reach out on time for help. It's better you do that earlier. Remember, she said today, I'll be tomorrow. If you noticed any of the things she's talked about in your child is not meeting milestones, please start looking for help immediately so that you can help your child on time. All right, Antonia is saying thank you, ma.
Thank you for
Yeah.
attending.
Marvelous is also saying thank you, ma. Noted, well
Thank
noted.
you.
Right. So yes, you've had it. You need to help your child develop communication skills. If they are not if you put them, if you don't allow them grow and then put them in front of just screens, it's a disservice to your child. You've had it all. There's so many things they can do. Then reading. Now I like that part. Read to your children. I started reading to my first child when he was 3 months. My second child, I think about that time. My last child, whether it's even the same day, if I had him, I started reading. Immediately we got home now. We are reading, everybody's reading, so we are together. For real, their listening skill, it builds listening skills because it builds their auditory learning skills because you've read to them over time, so they are used to it. Let me tell you, if you teach your children reading skills and they are good in craft and play and all that, television becomes uninteresting. I'm telling you. In my house, we don't want television during the week. We started it with the children, then with the parents, we also lost interest. So it's just one gadget there that only comes on sometimes on Fridays, then Saturday evenings, Sunday evenings. That's all. Initially, when I started it, it was like war, right? As if this mommy is wicked, this mommy want to finish us. But with time, we got used to it that it's just something that nobody, even visitors can come and switch it on. It's a rule. You can't come. Somebody was asking if I could do it to my father-in-law and do it to my father in my house. No television. As long as the children are home, no television. And really, really, it's helping. Their communication skill is sound. My 2 years old speaks clearly, can pick what he's saying clearly.
That's
Because
my
over
mother-in-law.
ooh, wow. Good to have you,
Thank you,
Sophie
Male, for
saying
attending.
right. Oh, that's good. So I hope we've learned, I hope we've heard. Parenting is not easy. You have to put in the work. And again, parenting is not cheap. I hate it when parents say they tear books. Are they not children? You must have budget for books now. They tear books. That's why they are children. Then you beat them for tearing book. That's not fair now. They are children. All you need to do is to caution them. In my book, we call it sad book and happy book. Do you want your book to be sad? That's when you begin to tear them. Your book is already sad. Happy book, read and kept. Learn to read. Read for See, these things are not magic. They are things you have to bring out time to do for your children. Help them develop their communication skills. You heard her say it. When a child cannot express himself, because nothing has been, you're not talking to that child, and that child is not talking back to you. So the child can't tell you what's happening. Not because things are not happening, but just because communication skills have not been developed, that child can't say more, can't say much. All right, we've gotten so much today. Our next session is by 8 p.m. with Dr. Jimo, and she'll be talking to us about child development. Okay, 8 p.m. child development. She is a pediatrician. She's a pediatrician. Please bring back uh patients. Yeah. There's a question. There's a question.
Okay.
Okay, if you have a 3 years old child who don't like talking or answering questions in public at school but answers them or is more active at home, what should the parent do?
Well, it shows the child is not socially balanced. We need to find out why. Is it because of the teacher? Is it because of bullying? Is the child being bullied? If this is the teacher asking this question, you may need to do some changes around the classroom, try different things. You may need to be the child's best friend if the child is not talking to anyone. Even though it will look as if you are talking to a wall, be friendly with that child. Hey, how are you doing? Are you all right? You know, it's okay to tell me anything. Don't worry, I'm here for you. If anyone bothers you, just tell me, okay? It's all right. Would you like to sit here or to sit here? Do you have preferences? Talk calmly and not putting your face over there. I mean, don't overtower the child. Bend down. Make your face be the face, speak to the child, come down to the child's level in terms of height. Speak calmly to the child. It might be selective mutism. It's a diagnosis also. Selective mutism is when a child or a person is more comfortable speaking in a certain environment and not comfortable speaking in other environments. And it might not even be selective mutism. It might just be a case of bullying or a harsh teacher. It might be fear. So if you keep talking calmly to the child, you change the environment, you can find out from other people. Has this child ever spoken to you? Other children in the class. You can find out who is your best friend. Why is this person your best friend? You can find out from the best friend. The best friend might even know why he's not talking. So if this is what if you have changed the environment to become a more suitable environment and the child is not improving after a whole term, then you talk to the parents. They might need to get an assessment done to see how this child
But
can be
they're
better.
saying the child is more active at home. It's just in the public, this child is not active.
It's just okay. Is it generally in public or okay? She said generally in public or at
Public or
school.
at school. But
Get a
answers.
professional to look at it.
Hmm.
Get a professional to look at the case. What's going on exactly? Has the child always been like this, or did the child suddenly change? There are questions that need to be answered before we can say, okay, let's now take this assessment to know if this child has this problem or not. But there is no issue that does not have an intervention. And also, sometimes we parents we are our children's problem. We speak on behalf of our children, even at home. We speak on behalf of the children. We do not know what our children's voices even sound like. What's your name? Her name is this. Let this child talk. How old are you? Oh, she's 3. I wasn't asking you. I was asking, how old are you? I was asking the child. You don't allow the child to talk. And then when you keep talking on behalf of your child, it has a way of downplaying on their confidence. So when they get out there, they are wondering, oh, what will I say? Mommy is not here to answer for me.
Hmm.
How will I say it now? Hope they are not going to laugh at me. Hope they are not going to yell at me. Mommy is not here. Who is going to defend me? That could be the cause, and it might not even be it. But if you are worried about anything, get a professional to look into it. Ask questions until you get your answer. Keep asking questions.
All right, thank you so much. But so before you go, your final words, and then we close the day. We close for this session.
Okay,
Your
thank
final
you
words.
very much, Ma. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about what I love to talk about. And parents, please, you can find me on any of the social media platform. I'm Patience Oyeme Olaiya. You can find my page on Facebook, Speechy Haven. Reach out. Even if it's to make a comment in any of my posts, it will get my attention. You can send an inbox to get my attention. I answer questions on daily basis. I get inboxes on daily basis. So all the best. I wish your children wonderful personalities and communication skills. Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ATQ.
Thank you so much, Ma, for being here. God bless you real good. So you've had it all. If you think your child isn't speaking well or is not meeting up communication skill milestones, please don't be quiet. Pray, oh, but as you are praying, please seek for intervention. That's what we are saying. Seek for intervention. God answers prayers through people, through professionals. Please reach out. In the morning, the same thing we said. God answered. That's why He has given us specialists, right? That's why He has given us these specialists to help us so that we don't end up. Okay, ma.
Sorry, it's important to mention this. Please, when you are reaching out to me inbox, don't just say hi. When you say hello, go straight to the point and tell me everything you want to tell me. Don't say hello this morning. And then when I'm chance to read it at night, I read your hello and say hi. Then tomorrow we say hello and hi again. No, let's not waste each other's time. When you greet, you say hello, go straight to the point. Give me a breakdown of why you are saying hello. Sometimes we just see hello and it's tiring and we just, okay, this one is just greeting me. There's nothing else to say. Please, when you say hello, say why you are saying hello. Thank you, Ma.
Exactly, ma. The story of counselors and therapists. Somebody will say hello, and you're waiting to see the next. What's the hello for? And what the hello is for may not even come until after 3, 4 days. So you've had it all. All right. Thank you once again for being here this afternoon. I know you have gained a lot. And next session is by 8 p.m. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and follow us on all our socials. Please, and then help us share. Invite your friends to be a part of this. Don't be selfish. Don't enjoy alone. Join our parenting community. There it's not just parents, we have everybody. Parents, uncles, aunties, trusted adults. As long as you have a child in your life, join our community and you'll be happy you did. All right, see you 8 p.m. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.